现在在场的是彼得纳马罗，然后 Debra 出来穿蓝裙子，这位医学专家。有2位穿蓝裙子，戴围巾的，在左边是 Debra。
Thank you very much. Great to have you.
谢谢大家，
And thank you all for being here.
非常高兴你
My
们
administration
的到
is
来。
taking new action to ensure that America has the medical
这届
resources
政府
equipment needed to fight the
采取新行动，来保证美国人民有
pandemic
这些
for
资源
over
来
150
对
countries
抗
all over the world.
全球疫情，
We've had great success over the last month.
影響了
As you know,
150多個國家。
the millions and millions of pieces of equipment have been delivered successfully by us, purchased and delivered, and
几
we've
百
made it
万
available to
的
the
醫療
states.
設備等等都
And
已
the
經
governors have been very gracious for the most part, I would say.
購
There are
買
people that aren't
並且運送
appreciative of the
到
incredible job.
需
They
要
have
的
to
地
do a
方。
better job themselves. That's part of the problem. But
我非常感激
generally
州
speaking,
长
I have
们
to tell you
的
the governors have been
卓
great. I
越
just
表
spoke to the
現。
governor of New Jersey, Governor
总而言
Murphy,
之，
and he's very thankful.
我要
And
说那些州
Governor
长
Cuomo
表
has been very
现优
nice. And
异。我刚
they've
跟
really
新泽
appreciated, I
西的
think,
州
what the
长
federal
通
government has
话，
done. You look at the hospitals that are being built
他
all
们也非
over the
常感激
country
联邦政府的
by the
帮
Army
助。
Corps of Engineers and FEMA.
有
It's
很多
been
医
really
院
incredible.
在
Nobody's
全
seen it.
国
They've built
正
hospitals
在
in 2
新
or 3
建，
days, portable hospitals. This afternoon, I invoke the
所以
Defense Production Act to
有
compel
2-3
General
天就
Motors
可
to
以
accept,
建一
perform,
个
and
临时医院。
prioritize federal contracts
我
for
们
ventilators.
在
Ventilators are a
促
big deal,
使
and we've delivered
通用
thousands of
电
them.
器来制造呼吸
And
机，
oftentimes you don't need
并且已经
ventilators very
运
much.
送了几
Hospitals
千
don't have very
台
many. And now we're
送达那
turning
些
out
需
that
要
we
的
have
医
to
院。
produce large numbers. But we've been able to
现
do
在
that, and we're going to be
我
doing a
们
lot
必
more.
须制造更多，
This invocation of the DPA should
并且
demonstrate clearly to all
大量
that we
生
will
产。
not hesitate to use the full
只
authority
有紧急国
of the federal
防
government
法、
to
国防
combat
生
this
产法
crisis. We thought that we had to deal with, as an
能
example,
够使
General
联邦
Motors, and
政
I guess they
府
thought otherwise.
来
They
利
didn't
用资
agree,
源。
and now they
抗
do.
议。
They do agree, and I
那
think we
跟
might
这
be
个
able to pull it. But we
通用
let
电
them
器，现在他们
know
同
the
意
way we
了
felt, and
生
they can't
产
be
这
doing that.
个
We'll
呼吸
work in
机。
partnership with the private sector, but where an emergency exists,
我们要
and
跟
it's very
私
important
营
that
企
we
业合作。
get to the bottom line, and quickly we will
很重
do
要
what we have
的
to
是
do and
我们
immediately exercise all
必
available
须
lawful
让他
authorities
们我们
to
合
get the
作，
job done. This afternoon, I
根据
also signed an executive order
利
investing
用一切的办法
and very, very strongly
能完成我
investing
们
the
应该
Department of Health and Human Services and
完
the
成
Department
的
of Homeland Security
事情，
with the full
并且我们
authorities available under the
人
Defense
事部
Production
门
Act
还有这个国土
to
安全
respond to the
局，
outbreak
还
of
有
the
这个
terrible
国防生
virus,
产
the
法
invisible enemy, as we say.
来对抗
My order also establishes that
我
Peter
们这
Navarro, a
个
very
看不见的敌
trusted
人。
person from the White House, and he's
我
been
们
an
的
incredible
彼
He's
得
done
纳
an
瓦
incredible job for
罗
me
也是
in
非
terms of
常令
negotiation,
人
in
信
terms
任
of
的，
understanding where the
他
world is
做
going
了非常棒
economically.
的工作。
But my order establishes that
他
Peter
知道这
will
个
serve
国
as
际经
National
济
Defense
向何
Production
处
Act
发展，
policy coordinator for the federal government. That's a
我
very
们
important position.
要彼得来
More
成
important
为
probably than
国
it's
防生产
almost ever
法
been in our
的
country. And so I want to
经
congratulate
济
Peter
方
and
面
his
的
family. It's
领导人。
I know he's going to do a fantastic
我想
job. He's been doing that job
向
over the
他
last
的家庭表示
few
祝
weeks.
贺。
Peter is a PhD
其
in
实他已
economics
经
from
在过
Harvard.
去几周履
Has a
行了这样的
master
职
in
责。
public administration from the
他
Kennedy School, also from
哈佛毕
Harvard.
业，并
And
且
he's a
在几
tremendous
届政
guy,
府内
and he will
任
do a
职，
fantastic job. But I'd like to maybe ask
他是一
before
个
I continue, Peter, to say
卓
a
越
few
的
words, please. Peter,
Thank you,
thank you
Mr.
very
President.
much.
人物，
And of course, you know,
请
the
让
Harvard
彼
joke,
得来
you
说几句。
fellow Harvard man.
现在
you
是彼
can't
得
tell
纳
him
瓦
that.
罗在说话。
So, anyway, on a serious note, let me just give you a little idea of the Defense Production Act and why it is so important. We are engaged in the most significant industrial mobilization since World War II. We have a wartime president fighting an invisible enemy, and we have the full force of
这
government
是二战以来
coupled
积
with the
极生
full
产法，是
power
二战以来
of
最
private
重要的
enterprise
这个生
bearing
产
down
法。
on this
只
problem
要
for
我
the
们有
American
权力
people.
的参
What we
与，
have
加
to do
上
today
所有的
with President
力量
Trump's order with respect to
来
General
进行
Motors, I
生
want to
产
give you a little background on
今
that.
天根
We
据
need industrial
总
mobilization
统
to
的
make
命令
adequate
有关
ventilators, particularly in the very short
通
run,
用电
to
器
help
生
people in
产
New York, Detroit, New Orleans, Chicago, Denver,
呼吸机，
Seattle, all
我
around
们
this
需要
country as this virus
马
bears
上
down. And
提
the
供
ventilators
给
really
那
are the
些
most
重
important
疫
thing for
情
patients who
提
become
供
most
呼吸
seriously
机，
ill. They are literally
特
the
别是给那
lifeline for
些
people.
重症
And
患者，
I've personally been working
这
with
是他
FEMA,
们的生
and
存
I've
的
been
希
working
望
with。HHS and
我
over 10
本人
ventilator
和
companies,
紧
making
急事
sure
务
we can
署
get what we
合
need
作。
as quickly as
我
possible.
们现在
And
已
virtually
经
every
有
one
超
of those
过
companies has
10
been
个已有
cooperative,
的呼吸
patriotic,
机
moving
生
in
产
Trump time, which
厂
is to say
家
as soon
合
as
作，
possible, sir. But we
并
did have
且
a
我
problem
们
with
在
GM
用这
and
个川普
Ventec.
的
On the
速
one
度
hand,
来进行
we
生
had
产，
Ford and
但是我
GE
们
moving forward on
跟
a similar kind of project,
通用电器遇到
patriotically
了一
moving as
些
fast
麻
as
烦，
possible. Over the last several days,
所
we
以
ran into
以爱国
roadblocks
的
with
这种
GM. We
方式，
cannot
我们
afford
一
to
定要
lose a single
最
day,
快行动。
particularly over the
那
next 30 to
之
60
前
days.
我们遇到了一
So
些阻碍，
President Trump
特
invoked
别
the
是我
Defense
们
Production
无
Act as
法
a way of
承受这
enhancing and
种
accelerating
延
this
迟。
mobilization. I salute him for
在
doing
这
so.
个
It's going to make
将来
my
的这个
job so much easier. For
30
the most
天内，
part, we've
所
had
以我
tremendous cooperation from the private
向
sector.
总统
Today,
致敬，
sir,
我
was the
们
right day
有
to do it. Thank you, sir.
得到广泛的支持，
Good luck.
所以总统的方
My
式是对
administration
的。
is marshaling the full power of the American government, and we will
总
do
统
that,
说
and that's what
我
we've
们
done.
的这届
And we
政
will
府
continue
正
to
以
do it until our war is won.
全力
Economic,
进
scientific,
行
medical, military, and homeland security. All of this
刺
to
激经
vanquish
济，
the virus.
还有
We
在
are working to sign contracts
各个
immediately
方
with
面，包
the
括
major
国土安
ventilator
全等
companies
等，
in the country, including GE,
并且
Philips,
和那
Medtronic,
些
Hamilton, Zoll,
生
RedMed,
产呼吸机的公
Hillrom
司，像
and
新
Vyaire.
的参
These are
与
all
进来的记忆等，
companies that do this, great companies. The FDA will be reducing
还有
and waiving
有好几
unnecessary
个公司
regulations
都
in
是
order
可
to
以生
get this
产
done. We're going to be
呼
getting
吸
rid
机，
of
并
certain
且去除一些不
let's
需
say
要的
barriers to
障碍，
speed. We want them to
或
get
者
it
繁
done
文
quickly.
缛
They've been
节，
doing it for a long time. They've
这
been
样
making
以前
ventilators
所
for
未
a
有
long
的
time.
速度，
Hopefully General Motors will join in the
让这
fray.
些长久以来
Under
制
the
造
normal condition
呼吸
that
机
you
的公
would
司
be
能够全力生
regular
产，并
times,
且让这个
29,000
记
ventilators
忆
are distributed in the
通用
United
电器
States
加入
each
他
year.
们，
In the next
所以我
100
们
days, well, first of all, we've already
每
delivered
年有
thousands of
2
them.
万
But within the next 100 days, we will either make
呼吸
or
机，
get in
但
some
是
form over
在将来的
100,000
100
additional
天，
units.
我们
And
将会
I guess to put it in
有10
other
万
words, in the
生
next
产10
100
万个
days,
呼吸
we'll
机，
receive over 3 times the number of ventilators
将来
made
100天
during a regular year in
我
the
们
United
会
States, and that doesn't include
3
all
倍
of the
于
thousands and thousands
一
that
年
we've
的
we've
产
given
出
to the various states, a lot of them. We
并且
delivered
我们
thousands, as you know, to
每个州
New
都
York, and
会
they didn't know
得
they
到
got
几
them.
千台
And then
呼吸机。
we also had thousands
纽
put in
约
a
并不知
warehouse,
道他们
and that was also
有
for
这
New
些
York,，and
并
they
且
just
他们
found
有
out that they
几
were
千
there.
台放在
So
这
we have to
个
make sure
仓
that
库
when
里
we，deliver
所
things,
以
they
他们
get distributed.
才发现他们有这
Earlier
种
today,
仓
I
库
spoke
里
to
未
the
被使用的
CEO
呼
of
吸机，
Boeing, Dave
所以我
Calhoun,
们马
and
上
Boeing will be
告
producing
通知
and
了他们，
donating face
还有
shields
波
to
音公
help our
司
medical professionals
他
on
们
the front
会
lines. These are actually
生
pretty
产并
intricate in
且
terms
捐
of the
助
plastic and the quality of the
那个防
materials
护
are
面具，
important. They've got to be top of the
还有
line, and
它那
they're
个
going to do
塑料，它们的
thousands of these
质
a
量是
week.
非常重要的。
They've already tested the production,
还
and
有
they're ready to
几
begin
千个
producing
都可以每
all
周
of these
得以生产，
shields. It's the plastic
这个
shields
生
that go
产
over the face. Oh,
马上
Boeing
就
is
可以开
also
始了，就
offering
是
us the
就
use
是
of
那个
their
透
what
明
they call
的
the
面
Dreamlifter cargo
罩，
plane. It's the largest plane in the world,
所
and
以这个
this sort of a picture
波
of
音
it
有
they
这
called up
个
just a little while ago,
商务
and that
飞
can sort
机，
of take anything. That's the biggest in the
就是在
world,
照片上显示的
and
这个
they're letting us use that for
这
the
是
distribution of
运输飞机。
product all over the country,
他说
especially the heavy
波音
product
让
or
政
large
府用这
quantities of
个
product.
种
And
运
Boeing
输飞
will
机
dedicate
来
up to 3 planes to the mission of
发
flying
送
medical
物资。
supplies anywhere we need it. Each plane can carry
他还给了
63,000
几架飞
pounds of
机
cargo per flight. That's a lot of
来
cargo.
帮助
I also signed an executive order giving the Department of Defense
分
and
发物
Department of
资。
Homeland Security
我
the
并且签
authority
署了
to activate the ready reserve
行政命令
components of the
给
armed forces. This
赋
will allow us
赋予
to
权利
mobilize medical
给那
disaster and
些
emergency response personnel to help wage
军队
our battle
让
against
他
the
们能
virus
够
by activating thousands of experienced service members, including
有效的对
retirees.
抗疫
We have a
情，
lot of people, retirees, great
还有
military people.
已
They're
经
coming back in who have
退休
offered
的
to
人
support the nation
那
in
些
this
军
extraordinary
队
time，of
他们在
need. And they
退
come
役
back
的
in. They don't
军
say how
人，
much.
他们
They don't
愿
say
意
what are
回
we getting
来，
paid. They just want to come back in. It's
他没
really
有
an
说
incredible thing
多
to see. It's
少
beautiful.
工资，他
This
们就愿意
afternoon, I
回来
also，signed
这
into
是
law
这是非常
$2.2 trillion in urgently needed relief for our
我们已经
nation's
签署
families,
惩
workers,
罚
businesses, and Americans of every race,
2.2
color,
万亿
religion, and
的
creed.
紧急经
And
济
the
救助
$2.2
法，
trillion goes to $6.2
无论
trillion, depending on need. So it's the largest
宗
bill
教
ever
信仰、肤
signed.
色等等都会
And
得
not
到
just
救助
emergency relief, but
这
of any
是
kind. We've
有
never
史
signed
以
a
来
bill
最
of
大
that
的经济救
magnitude.
助
And,
法。
incredibly,
美国
it
从
was
未有过
96
如
to
此之
nothing
大的经
in
济
the
救助
Senate,
法
and，it was essentially the same thing in
是
Congress. They
以
did it very
96票
quickly
全票通
in
过
the House.
无
They
一
did
票
it
反
very, very
对，
quickly.
并且
So if you look
在
at Congress,
众
what
议
they've been
院
able to do, the
很
House
快的
was
通过，
voice
所
vote,
以
I guess they would
我
call
非
it.
常感激
And something like that rarely takes place. And
议员们
96
所
to
做
nothing
出
in
的
the Senate for the
努
largest
力。
bill in the history of our country. That's
所
pretty
以
good. And I want to thank Republicans. I want to
对
thank
于这个
Democrats
有史以来最
for
大
coming
的
together for the
法
whole of the
案
nation. And this
无
is a
意
great
票无
thing, a
异议
great
通
victory.
过，
This
我
is
表
going to
示感
save
激。
companies that are incredible companies, but that are
他
going
说
to
这
need
是一
some
个
help
伟大的
because of what happened.
胜利，
A
并
month
且
ago,
可
they
以
were
拯救
outstanding.
许
They
多
were
的
having the
公
best
司。
year they ever had, and then we got hit.
几个月
And so
前
we'll，
他
help them
们
out. It's
还
thousands
非常
and millions of jobs,
欣欣向荣，
millions of
但
jobs.
是马上得
And
到
I
这
just
个
want to thank
无情
everybody
的
for
打
working
击，
so hard, and that includes the
所以我
people
就想
standing with me
感
right
激
here.
每个人的努力。
The legislation extends a
所以
vital
这么
lifeline to
多优
American
秀的
families
人
and
与
American
我一
workers
同
with job retention loans for small businesses, and
奋斗
a big focus of the bill
我
is
们还有
small businesses.
保
They're
护
really they're the energy. They're whatever you want to
工作法，
call it in
这个
terms of our
贷
nation.
款。
The push. People have no
所以
idea how
可
big
以
a factor Peter can tell you
把
the
它
small
称作
businesses are in this country from an economic standpoint, from a job standpoint.
彼得可以告诉
We
你，
expand
小企业
the
是我
unemployment
们经
benefits
济
for
的
workers
重要
very
组成部
substantially,
分
and。direct cash payments will be going to
这些
American
对于
citizens
失业
substantial.
补助
This
的
legislation also provides a massive increase in funding for
扩大
hospitals,
可以
for the disaster relief fund, and
给
critical
人民
supplies
提供帮
including
助，并且
masks,
给医院
respirators, and
等
pharmaceuticals of all
医
types.
疗
And speaking of pharmaceuticals, as you know, we're working on
企业
vaccines.
提供
We're
帮
getting
助，
some
还
good
有
response,
物
and
资
we're
等。
working on therapeutics and cures.
疫苗，
And we have some very interesting
还有
things
治疗
happening.
方
This
式，
afternoon, Apple
药物，
launched a new tool created in
在
partnership
这个
with
些
our
领域也有
task
非
force,
常
the
振
CDC
奋
and
人
FEMA.
心的消息。
Any individual who is concerned that they might have the virus
在
can now download the free
防疫中心等等，
COVID-19 app on their
在
iPhone and answer a set of simple questions about their
在
symptoms and
苹果
risk
手机
factors.
上，你可以下载这个 app，
Getting to be a very
可以
modernized system indeed.
帮你检
They'll
测、
soon
自测
receive
自己的
HHS recommendations on
风
what
险
to do
程度，
next,
就
including
可以知
whether
道
they
自
should
己是
get
不
tested
是
or not.
有这个
And again, we
风
only
险
want people
哈
to。get tested if
所
we
以
think
就
they
可以
need
让
it.
你回答一些问题，
In
你
a
就
few
知
moments,
道他是
Secretary
你是不是应该
DeVos and
受
Secretary
到检
Perdue
测，
will
这是
discuss
苹
new
果公司
partnerships
推
with
出
the
的。
private sector that are providing meals to millions of
我
students
们还
while
跟
schools are closed.
许多其
They've
他
both been
的
incredible, the job they've done. I
私
appreciate them
营
very
机
much.
构合作，
We're
让给
grateful
学
for
生
the
提供
assistance of
免费。
Niran
午餐。
Shodhari, CEO
我
of
们还
Panera Bread Company. They've been so incredible to us and to the
好几
people of our
位
country.
好
And
CEO
Denton
和公司
McLean,
那里
chairman
得
of
到帮
McLean
助，
Global
还有
Logistics, and they
在我们
joined us. They're on
国
stage
民那
with
里
me.
得
They're
到
going to
帮
speak.
助。
Throughout this ordeal, I've been awed and inspired by the American people more than anything else, more than anyone else. Americans of every walk of life have followed the guidelines, shown incredible
美国
compassion, and
人们
sacrificed greatly
帮
on behalf of their fellow
各界
citizens.
人们，
I want every
他们
American
牺
to
牲
know
了
that
自
their
己的
selfless
利益
and
来帮
heroic
助
actions are saving lives,
其
and I
他
want
人
them to know, and I've said it
他
before,
们
that
的
I'm
无
very proud to
私
be their
和勇
president.
敢，
Very proud of the American people.
让人
My administration is
为
actively
他们
planning
感
the
到
next
骄
phase
傲。
in an all-out
我
war
们这
against
些
this horrible
政
virus.
府
We're
要
now
准备
testing
下
nearly
阶
100,000
段
patients per
来对
day, more
抗
than
这个
anybody in
可
the
怕的
world.
疫毒。
And we've now,
现
as
在
of
我
even
们
a couple of weeks ago, tested more than any other country in the world. And our
10
capacity
万，
continues to grow.
所以我们现
Widespread
在
surveillance
有
testing
10
will
万
allow
个
us to
受
monitor
感
the
染。
spread of the
现在
virus,
我
and
们
we're doing that quite accurately.
这个
And Deborah and
检
Tony
测
will be
可以
speaking
让我
about
更多
that
的
and coordinate with the states to contain new
给
hotspots
更
as
多
they
的人检
arise
测，
with a targeted
并且
fact-based
跟
and data-based
州合作，能找
approach.
到那
It's
些
all data-driven.
高发地
This
区，
surveillance testing will soon
并且
enable us to publish updated guidelines for
采
state and
取
local
有效
leaders. We
行动，
want every county and region in the country to have
并且这
the
些
on-the-ground
数据
evidence that they need
调
to
查也让我
determine the
们可
mitigation
以根
measures
据地
that are right for
方
them.
政府合
Each
作
location
发
is
布
different.
规则，
Some are very, very
并
different.
且
Some are day
根
and
据
night.
不同的地方的
Some are in
情
great shape
况
and，some aren't in great shape, and we'll be able to
根
have
据
very
变化
accurate information
有的
very
地
shortly.
方
We
比
already
较
have a lot of
轻，
that
有的地
information.
方比较
America
重，
is bravely battling
情
this
况比较严
pandemic
重。
through cutting-edge science, medical
美国人
innovation,
民
and
勇敢地对抗这个疫
rational,
情，
deliberate, and
并
determined
且
vigilance.
创
No effort will
造
be spared
创造
in
力
winning
发
this
挥出
war.
来
We're，going to win the war. Hopefully, we're going to win
没有
soon
任
and with
何
as few
努力会
lives
被
as possible lost.
浪费。
You
我
see what's
们
going on all over the world. You see the lives. You see Italy.
一
You
定
see
会
Spain. You see all of these countries
减
going
轻
through
这
so
些
much,
损
going
失。
through such
你
hell.
看到国际
And
上
we're
那
all in
些
very strong communication. I
悲
can
惨
tell
的
you our
情景，
professionals are dealing with them every day.
我
Many of the
们有
countries, so many countries, but many of the
得
countries
到了很
we're
多
dealing
的
very
反馈
directly and closely.
从我们每天都
And
跟
we're
他
going to
们
be
保
in
持
very
沟
good shape
通，
in
我们
terms
跟
of
他
certain
们
equipment that's very hard to get, very hard to manufacture.
保
And
持
at the
交
right
流。
time, we'll be distributing that
所以
equipment throughout the world to other
很多
countries. Boris
设
Johnson
备是
was
非
asking for
常
ventilators
比较
today. As
难
you know,
的，
Boris
比较
is
困难，即
He's
使
tested, unfortunately,
生
he's
产并
tested
且分发
positive,
到世界各
and
地。
it's a terrible thing. But he's going to be great. I'm sure
很
he's
不
going to be
幸，
totally
这个
great.
英国首
But they
相
want
Boris
ventilators.
Johnson
Italy wants ventilators. Spain wants ventilators.
已
Germany
经
wants ventilators.
感
They're
染
all
病
calling
毒。
for ventilators. Well, we're going to make a lot of ventilators.
那很多欧洲
And
国
we'll
家
take
它
care of
都
our
需
needs,
要
but we're
这
also going to
个
help other countries.
呼吸机，
So I just
像
want
德
to thank
国
everybody. I want to thank
等等，所以
great
我们
American
将
citizens and,
帮助其他的国
a lot
家
of incredible
提供
things are
向他们
happening.
提供是
Really
呼吸机。
happening. And
现在有
too
很
bad.
多
I was saying before we had the press conference when we signed. We had a signing
振奋
ceremony
人
when
心
we
的事
signed
情在发生
the。largest bill in
我
our
们
history.
刚
And,
刚有
I
一个
said,
签署的
think
仪
of
式
it, 22 days ago,
把最历史上最大的经济刺激法签署成案。他说一切本来之前一切都非常顺利，股市不断创新高，全世界经济都看着非常棒，但是突然来了这么一个无形的敌人。但是我们一定会战胜它，我们将变得更强壮。我们之前就有不太运转好的机制，但是我们现在纠正，我们会使得它改进。现在是问答时间，问题是。他说：“是不是有关于这个GE 通用电气的这个生产的这个价格是不是？因为这个上面没谈妥，所以有一点小小的延迟。”总统就是说，他们建了很多工厂。他说他很喜欢那个俄亥俄那边的生产厂，但是他们准备离开。但是那个时候，那个地方就是应该生产这个呼吸机的，所以我们他说那个价格成了一个阻碍啊，没有谈妥，有点，所以我们的彼得会来解决这些问题。下一个问题，他说关于有每个州的自行隔离，那过去在有些州就有了这个自我隔离。
Well, I think I'm going to let Tony speak to that a little bit later, but we're being very strong on quarantine.
他说等一下我让 Tony 来回答。他说我们在自我隔离方面非常的强调这方面。他说纽约这种地方。
So we'll let Tony answer that, but
在纽约是重疫区。
We're not playing games. John?
那佛罗里达州也是重疫区。
This morning you tweeted about it, and I'm told it was coincidentally not long after that tweet, Ventec and GNews announced they had reached an agreement to at their Kokomo, Indiana plant, which is a clean facility that makes electronic equipment, produce up to 10,000 ventilators a month with the first one to be delivered in a couple of weeks.
通用电气马上有做出正面反应。他说。
And we just were not getting there with General Motors. We weren't getting there.
他说是在那个
在
跟那个通用电气的打交道的过程中，好像不太顺利。他说我等一下会跟你再解释，但是这些人他们要参与进来，我们不应该让那个价格成倍增长，呼吸机的价格。他说这个不是对国家有利的。问题是说，所以现在我们要生产几万台呼吸机。川普说，也许我们根本不需要那么多呼吸机，但是全世界其他地方都需要呼吸机。如果我们可以帮助他们出口呼吸机，如果我们可以生产这么多，我们就可以生产。如果我们不需要也没关系，我们可以帮助意大利或英国。那我刚才问那个 Boris， 他感觉如何？然后他回答是说他们需要呼吸机。在英国需要呼吸机。好，下一个问题。 他说纽约州州长在问他需要3-4万台呼吸机，他说总统却说可能不需要这么多。总统说最好问 Deborah 这个问题。他说有的地方会很大量的需求，知道人们总是给他比较高的这个预估的数字。他说，如果我们有多余的，就可以帮助其他国家。他说，不要忘记，我们已经送了几千台呼吸机。其实纽约不知道他们已经有，他们就放在仓库里。其实他们已经在仓库里。但是纽约没有使用它们，所以我们一定要让人们都清楚了解情况。我并不是在指责纽约啊，所以联邦政府做得非常棒，所以这些呼吸机已经在纽约了，但他们并不知道他们有，所以他们一直在抱怨。其实我们有多于我们所需要的呼吸机。好，下一个问题。他说，州长难道不感激那些联邦政府所做的吗？总统说，华盛顿州的州长做得非常棒，虽然他没有成为总统候选人。他说：“我们为华盛顿州做了很多有效的事，建医院等等。你知道，我们也很好的照顾了密西根州。”在新泽西，他们如何评价联邦政府呢？我觉得他们会认为联邦政府做得不错。在刚才会议中，他们感谢了这些陆军工程兵等等，并且在那个 Jarvis Center 那个建了个方舱医院，这在纽约。你知道，我们其实联邦政府做了非常棒的工作。那问题就是说，华盛顿州，总统说，我就希望华盛顿州比较感激联邦政府的努力。他说，并不是对我个人感激。我是在讲这个抗疫工作小组像副总统，还有这个紧急情况署。他说我们做了很多事情，并且把一些旅馆都改装成医院了。他说，其实这些事情应该是州政府来做的。他说：“我们并没有无所事事，他们做了非常多的工作，就是联邦政府。那他说，这个州政府对联邦的一些批评，我觉得他们批评的不太公平。他说，我们已有非常棒的音乐，然后正在建这个。”医院新建的医院，他说我们很快就建成了，所以就是那个船，这个军队的这个船的医院。他说，这个媒体和州长应该对联邦政府更多的感激。其实只有个别州长是显出不太感激。可能这有一些政治因素在内。总统反复强调说，这个州政府应该感激联邦政府。他说，我们这些人 联邦政府他们几乎工作24小时，我都觉得副总统他现在可能都没有时间睡觉了。然后我跟他说不要去跟那些密西根的州政府或者是华盛顿州的州长给他们打电话。我告诉副总统不要给他们打电话，但是彭斯还是会跟他们打电话。问题是说，他说很多，他说你说你让别人待在家里不要旅行，那你自己应该去吗？就是送别那艘医疗船。总统说那是一个有象征意义的哈，他说在非常短的时间内就把这个医疗船准备好。他说你问题很好，我觉得作为一个国家的领袖，对于那些人日以继夜的工作。他说，其实弗吉尼亚离那个华盛顿 DC 不远。他说这是个很短的路程。他说我过去表示感激，并不是我要跟他们拥抱或者握手。他说如果作为总统过去表示感激，我觉得我们会小心的。下一个问题，他说对于那个就是。他有一点那个过去之前的政府好像没有很多的战略储备对于这些紧急物资，他就说对于国家都是空的，但是他说我们现在改变了，我们把这个都储备好，然后我们把这些分发出去。我们现在有紧急状况，所以我们直接分发给当地政府、地区政府，比如说纽约、密西根、弗吉尼亚、佛罗里达等。我们觉得这样更好。我们觉得我们重新生产了很多战略储备物资。他说有关跟中国主席习近平的对话，总统说进行良好。他说它是一个不同的世界，一种不同的政府。我们谈了很久，至少1个小时。其中问题之一，我就问他：你什么时候注意到这个疫情？当然，我们讲了很多这个疫情。他说：你到底知道多少等等。他是如何控制啊？是不是保持距离是最好的？然后中国比我们这个发生的早，这个疫情，所以他们是他们的经验领先于我们，所以我们谈了很久，他有这么多的经验。习主席他有一些理论，他说有的已经传递到我们这里，特别是一些数据。他们说我们的关系良好，我们还谈论了贸易协定。现在面对疫情，没有人关心贸易了。我们谈论了贸易。还有这些我们的农民，他们应该采购的中国应该采购的农业物资。他说，你去看 媒体上都是有关疫情。
They have started very, very large buying, as you probably have read. But what we really focused on was this.
一开始就要大量采购美国农业产品。
How have you done with respect to vaccines? We discussed that.
总统也问了，对于治疗如何，
interesting things have
他们
been
中国如何
determined,
采
and
取
we'll see what
行动了。
happens. But we
他说
talked
他
a
们
lot
有
about
一
vaccine.
些
We talked a lot about possible cures.
我
How
们
good would that
谈论了
be?
很多
That's
有
game
关
changer. So we'll see. And
疫
by the
苗
way, we
还
have
有治疗
various
方
things
案。
happening right now having to do with cures and
我们有
vaccines.
很多事情正在发生。
In the vaccine
有
thing,
治
I
疗
think
还
we're very
有
close,
疫
but
苗都在
as Tony
研
will
制
tell
中
you, that's a long testing process.
我认为我
So
们
we'll
的
see
疫
what
苗
happens.
非常接近，
He never asked me to
非常有
suspend
希望。
tariffs. No, we're taking in billions of dollars. He never did
还
ask me
有
that.
提问是
John?
中国有没有让他
On Monday will be the
延
end of the 15
迟
days to slow the
这
spread
个
of the
加
virus.
税？总
Do
统
you
说没有，
expect
他没
that
有
you will
提这些。
simply
下一
review
个
the
问题，
guidelines, or do you expect
他
that
说
there could be
你
some modification to those?
So, John, I'll be sitting down with this brilliant woman and this brilliant man,
他说
and
对
lots
于
of
这
brilliant
个
people that work
规
with them,
则
I think, right,
你
Deborah
又
and
会
Tony?
改变
And
吗？
we'll be sitting down on Monday
总
or
统说我
maybe
们现在有
Tuesday,
很多
depending
专
on
家，
which is the best for everybody. And
所
we'll be
以
making that
我们
determination.
星期一或者
We'll be
星
making
期
it.
二
And
要
by the way, obviously, we're not doing it for New
重审
York. You see, New
那
York is
些
just coming into this really
规
heated
则，
situation. We're building a
就
lot of
是
things
有
in New
关
York
什么
right now
保持距
that
离
nobody
啊
thought would
等
ever
等
be
这些
building.
规则。
A lot of things are happening in New York, so obviously, but we are talking about possibly other parts of the country which
纽
really
约
are
州有很多事情
affected
正
to
在
any
进行，
major
就
degree,
是
or maybe
抗
we
议的
won't
哈
do that because
抗击疫
maybe
情的事情
at the
在
advice
进
of a
行
lot。of very
他
talented
说
people
也
that
许
do
我们
this for
不
a
需要
living, they won't want to do
做
that. They
那么
won't want to
多，
expose anything.
如
They
果
want to do it all at one time. These are the kind of things we'll be talking about.
So for people at home who are
他
wondering
说
how
很多
long are we
很
going
多
to
这
have
种
to
决策都会在下星
device
期
to be different?
讨论。
Well, it depends. We do want to
问
flatten the
题
curve.
是
We want to
说
see that
我们
curve start heading down in the other direction at a minimum. And
持
we
续这
really
样
have to talk
嘛，
about
就是
areas of
很
the
多人
country
在
that
家
have
里。
not been affected or
总
certainly
统
have
说
had
我
a
们
very
必
small
须
effect.
要
And we'll see.
减缓
I
这
certainly want to get
个
it
传
open as
播
soon。as possible. I don't want it to be
他
long,
说
but we
我
also want it to open
当
safe.
然想要这个
Otherwise, what did we
恢
do?
复正常
Could。it be months?
I hope not. I hope it's
他说
going to
会
be
是
soon.
几
I
个
hope
月
it
吗？就
disappears
是
faster than that.
总统
I
说
really
我
think that the people of
希
our
望
country
不
have
需要
done a
几
great
个
job.
月
I
的
look,
这样的，
last night I was
整个经
watching
济
and I'm
的
looking down Madison Avenue,
像
Fifth
关闭一
Avenue.
样状
Man,
态
there。were no people in
他
the
说
street.
我看
I
这
mean,
个纽
normally you
约
wouldn't be able to see the
在麦
sidewalk.
迪逊大街
There'd
那
be
边都
cars
没
all
有
over. It'd be
人。
like rush hour stuff.
他
I'm
说
looking
以
at it.
前我都看不
And
到
I'm
这个
saying, I
人
can't
行
believe it.
道，
There are no cars.
都
There are
是
no
车
people.
啊
There wasn't
人
one
之类
person on，
现
Fifth
在都
Avenue
是
walking
空
down
荡
the street.
荡。
I've never seen that before.
在
You
那
know, I
个时
guess
候，在
maybe
第
at
五大
1
道纽
o'clock in
约
the morning,
那
4
边只有
o'clock
一
in the
个
morning,
人，
maybe.
也
But I've never
许
seen that before. The people have been
以
incredible.
前
They've really
我
been,
从来
when you talk
没有
about
见到这种
distancing,
情景。
social distancing,
你说
I mean,
我们
you
的
know,
人民
we
真的
don't
是
have a
非
law.
常
We're not
棒。
going to put them in jail, and yet
你知道我们没有有法律说要把他们抓起来，但是他
and
们
number two, they really are
遵守了
willing
这
to
个
win
规
this
则
thing.
哈，
Yes,
就说
yes.
没有那么多人
I
出
wanted
来
to，ask you about,
所以
United
他们
Airlines
就
said
是
today that,
要
um,
战胜这个
they're worried that there's
病
not
毒。
enough money for them in the
所以
$2.2
他们遵守了这些规
trillion
则
bill that you just signed
下面
at
一
the
个
end of the sort of aid period, which
问题就是说，
where the
是不是说
restrictions
我
on
们并没有
layoffs
2.2
come
万，
off,
应该
that
是
they could
把
be
它
seeing
还是签署惩
significant
罚了。
layoffs. And so I was wondering what your reaction to that was and what the administration might
那
do
你
to
说
prevent
是不是
that.
还会
So
有
we have
很多
brilliant people.
的
We have
裁
a
员
tremendous？ amount of money.
他说这是
And
很好
we
的
have brilliant people that I'm
问
taking
题
from Wall。
其实
Street
我们有很多钱，
with Secretary
并且我们
Mnuchin,
有
who's done an
很
incredible job, a brilliant
有
guy.
才华的人
I'm
在
taking from Wall Street, people
华尔
that I've
街
known
等
that
等
you all know, the top
他说我
people
们要
in the
从
world.
华尔
They don't want
街
money. They don't want. I mean, will they get something? I guess maybe
邀
they'll
请来
get,
这
who knows,
些
peanuts. What they want compared to what they would normally get. I'm
优
taking
秀
the
的人，
smartest, the
也
most
许他
brilliant
们
people in the world
他
in
们
finance, and they're going
我们邀请了这些非常有智慧才华的人，他们会来，这些专家会来帮助实施。我不会雇那些毫无经验的人，也许你都知道那些人了。
But the fact is, we're taking these brilliant
你知
people,
道他
and
们
they'll be
常常
dealing
在
with
媒体上
United,
出
and
现，
they
你
want
知
to
道
help.
他
Look,
们
the
是非
airline business,
常
I'll tell you
有
right
智
now,
慧
the
的，
airline business has always been a tough
然后
business.
他们会
It's always been a very tough business, tough to
帮
make
助
money with.
实施
It's
这
got
些计划。
every barrier you
他
can
说
have that business
航
has.
空业一向
But
是
for
非
our country,
常
it's very important. We have to
比
take
较
care of our
难运
country.
营
We
的
need
企
the
业
airlines to stay. It's also big
我
for
们必
jobs.
须
So we will be able to
保
handle
护好我们的
United,
国
and we'll
家
be able to
保护好这
handle
些工业
Delta, and
像
we'll be able
航
to
空工
handle
业
all of it. We have plenty of money.
像那个
Now, will we end up owning
Delta
large chunks, depending on what
United 这
these
些航
great
空公司，
geniuses
我们都要
decide,
保护
along
他
with the
们，
executives of the different companies?
所以我们要看这些
And they'll
天
make a
才们
better
他
deal
们
on
怎
the
么决
loan,
定
but the taxpayer will then end up owning a big chunk
所以
of
他们
companies. As an
可以
example, Boeing. Boeing until
有
a year ago was the
非
greatest
常
company
好
I
的
think in
贷
the
款
world
给
by
他
far.
们
There wasn't to me. There
那
wasn't
波
anything
音
close.
在
I believe it
1
was
年之前是
1%
非
of
常棒的
GDP.
公
Okay,
司
think。of it. One company, 1% of GDP.
我
It was
我
flawless.
认
It
为
had the problems,
1%的
and then
美
it
国
had on top of
国
it
民
this
生产总
whole thing with the
值
virus.
来自波音。
So Boeing
你
will
知道波
probably
音
need a
有
hand, and
遭
we're
遇
going
一
to bring
些
Boeing
不
back
顺
to
利，
help.
再加
But
上
we
这
have
个
the
疫
smartest
情，
people in the world. We have
所
the
以我
smartest.
们
I
一
don't even know
定
if you know
要
that. I think this
帮
could be
助
the
波音
first
这样
time
的
you've
公
heard it.
司。
People like Larry Fink we're
我
talking
觉得
to,
也许
and
第一次听这件
that's
事，
BlackRock, and we have, the smartest
我
people,
们
and
跟
they
那
all
个
want to do it. They all, I mean,
黑石集团
this to them, they
，Larry
love this
Fink
country. They all want
跟
to
他
do
们
it. So we're speaking to
谈，
people like that, and they'll be
他
able
说
to
他
work
们
it out.
热爱这个
I
国
guess my
家，所
question
以
is
我
there's
跟这
there's
些
probably a tension between
人合
bringing
作。
companies back to economic health and protecting
下一个
people's
问题，
jobs. And I'm wondering
他
if
说
you're
有
going to intervene and ask
我
Treasury
们
Secretary
要
I think they're the
recommendations
same
to
thing.
挽
I
救
mean,
公
bringing
司，
people
保
back
持
to
工
health and
作。
protecting people's jobs. To me,
总统说，
and I'm okay
这
with this stuff. That's
是
the
同
same
样
thing.
的保护公司
I'm in a
和
much different position as president
保
than
护
if I
工
were an
作。
investor or something.
他说，
But
我现
I want to
在
bring it back to health because I want to preserve
作
the
为总
jobs. But
统
I also
和
want to
投资
preserve
者的
airlines
角色不一样，
because
我
that's
当然要
preserving lots of
保
other
护
jobs.
工
That's
作，我也想
preserving
保
the
护
travel and leisure
航
industry,
空公
which
司。
is perhaps the largest industry in our country if you add it all up. You add up all the hotels and all the traveling and all the planes and everything else, probably by far the largest industry in our country. So saving the airlines is very important. And the airlines were all doing well. The airlines were doing record business a month before this
保护航空
today,
业
let's
也
say.
可以保护了其他
Even
的
22 days
相
to be
连关的
exact,
产
right?
业，
When we first started seeing some real signs
像
of
那个旅游
problems.
业啊
They
等
were
等
at。record levels. Last year they had a record year, the biggest in the history of the airlines. Everybody was doing well.
去年他们
I was
有
presiding over
航
the
空
most
业有
successful
创纪录的
economy
收
in the
入
history of the world.
和盈利，
And now we're going to have to rebuild it. And I think we're
所
going
以
to have an absolute,
我们现在必须重建这些。
maybe it's slightly after that, to be
我们
honest.
有
But it's going to be in that
特别
time
棒
period.
的
As
第
soon
四
as
季
we
度
get rid of this, I
去
think we're
年
going to have
盈利方面
explosion
是
upward.
非
It's
常
going to be
棒的。
incredible.
Please. President, Florida Governor Ron
去年第
DeSantis
四
has
季度
issued some of the fewest
盈利
restrictions
非
in the
常棒，
country,
我
yet
们
Florida has the highest percentage of elderly in the country.
在这结束以后，我们的经济会腾飞。还有下一个
I
问
do
题
because he's a very
是有
talented guy.
关
He's a very good governor.
老
Everyone
年
loves him.
老
He's
年
doing a
人。
fantastic job for Florida. He was not happy with the people coming down from New York.
然
They're
后
flying down from New York, and he had a
所
state
以
and has a state with,
总统
obviously a
说
lot
这
less
个
problems. Florida's been doing really
佛罗
well
里达的
in the
州长
sense
对
of
于纽约
testing. The
纽约
testing
人
is
去
showing
佛罗里
much
达不太
better
开心。
results. They'll talk to you about that later. But
他
no,
说
he was very unhappy with the people
有
coming
更
down
多的
from
检测
New
就
York,
会
and I
有
understand that. No, Ron's a
显
very tough
示
guy. He's a great governor.
显示这些
And
结
I
果
have
哈。
tremendous
他
confidence
说
in him, and he had
佛罗
the
里达
beach
州长是
situation.
非
He
常
resolved
棒的。
that. He will get it all resolved. Yeah, please.
他们有这个海滩这些问题，可能很多人在海滩聚集，他会解决这一切。又问下个问题，他说昨天你会把美国不同的县把它分类，看到这是高危、中等危险和低等危险。问题是说，如果人们从高危险的线走到低危险的线，你要跟他们怎么限制他们呢？
I don't like it.
总统说我们会实施，我们可以实施很严格的规则，我们要下周1和2再决定。然后也许我们可以变得更严格。我们要待情况而视，再做出决定。我们要向媒体公开我们的决定。下一个问题。这有关学生都待在家里，包括我的孩子，他们在网上学习。当然，教室里是更理想的。所以你对那些在家里的学生，你想说什么？总统说。你们这些学生也是这个国家的公民，是这个伟大的国家的公民。我们正在受到攻击。他说我们从未像这样受到攻击，我们一定会赢得这场胜利。我会告诉他们说，他们有这个义务，他们待在家里多洗手等等，就是学习。通过这一切来学习。年轻人、孩子，他们是非常的聪明啊！他们有的人可能更喜欢待在家里，不愿去上学呢。他说，他们应该就是好好待着，然后学习，通过这些来学习，学习这个周围发生这一切啊。他说：“我被习主席告知，他说年轻人他们非常的棒，他们好像对于这个受到疫情的影响比较小。这是昨晚上习近平对我说的。”他说：“你可以把这个病毒叫不同的名字，细菌啊等等，病毒等等。但是其实小孩他们的防疫力很强，免疫力很强。他说你要看那个西班牙流感的话，还有这个禽流感。”
As you know, not so long
H1N1
attacked very strongly young children, kids, middle-aged people, everyone.
那个之前对孩子的影响很大。
Your children should be in good shape, but just tell them to be very proud of the country, okay?
年龄也是一个因素，就决定这个影响的程度。他说，哪种情况可以让你决定让大家回归正常？他说，总统说我们下星期，总统说我们下周。他说，总统说很多媒体之前并不太公平。他说。
Yes, thank you, President Trump.
最近
New York is currently
他觉
the
得
epicenter of the outbreak in the U.S. with about half of the
比
cases.
较公正了，
Yesterday, Kellyanne Conway laid a lot of the
因为
blame
我
for
们
that on the
共
mayor,
度难关。
pointing out that he told people
下
to
一
go
个
about life as
下一
normal
个
and
问
resisted
题
closing schools and businesses. I'm wondering if you agree, and also if I could ask you your thoughts on the
他就
stimulus
说
bill preventing
总
aid
统
to your
希
businesses.
望很
Do
快
you think
恢复
that's
正
fair?
常。
And what are your thoughts on that?
Well, that's not happening. I mean, I think they
他
wrote us
说
out,
如果对你
and that's all right. But that's not happening. As far
对
as the
你
mayor
对
of New
他
York, I'll be
家族
honest,
企业
I
的
didn't
影
know
响，
him
然后
well.
总统说
He and I
他的家族企业
obviously
不会受到
opposite
帮助。
persuasions, and we would go at it, but we
他
didn't.
说
I don't know if we ever spoke other than to maybe say hello a couple of times. I did down at the Memorial, World Trade Center Memorial once a long time ago. So I've spoken to him a lot, Mayor de Blasio, and we've really had
他说我与这
incredibly productive
Blasio
discussions. I've gotten him
有
a
过
lot of people.
有效的
We've gotten him a medical
讨
center.
论。
he's asked for at Elmhurst. I know
我
Elmhurst
们给
Hospital
他
very well. I mean, that
拨
was
了
an
很
area
多
of
的
Queens that I
提供了许多
grew
帮
up
助，
in. And boy, you talk about an
在皇后区等
epicenter.
等，
That's really the epicenter of the epicenter. That's really
在那边
something. We talked about it because that was
是
very
重
close
灾
to where I
区，
grew
重
up.
灾区，
And
重灾区里的
knowing
重灾
it,
区。
being so familiar with it, it's incredible to see where they have the trucks. I don't have
那
to go
跟
into
我
great
儿时
detail.
的
Refrigerated
住宅很
trucks
近。
coming up, and I've never seen anything like it. I've spoken with Mayor de Blasio a lot in the last
他说我
week.
与那个
We've helped him, I
市
think, a
长
lot.
Blasio
And I've really gotten to
交
like
谈。
him. I get along with him very well.
我
Now,
很
he
喜
wants
欢
us
他。
to do certain things, and we've produced. I mean, today I spoke
我
to him with
发
the
现
Secretary of Defense, Esper,
我很喜欢他，
and we had a great conversation,
而
and
且
we're
跟
helping
这个
him
国防部长
get some of the things he needs.
有
I
很
don't
好
have
的
to go
交
into
谈，
great detail,
我
but he's
帮
very
助他
happy
们
about what we were able to do for
来
him
提
today.
供他所需的物
And
资，
he's like us. He's working very
我们
hard.
今天就可以
But
满
I
足他
can't
的一
say
些
anything
需
bad
求
about。Mayor de Blasio. I mean, my relationship with him over the last couple of weeks
他
has
说
been
我
excellent.
总统
And
说
we've
我
done a
不
good job
我
for
不
him
能
too.
对这个
From the governors?
市长
There's been a lot of
Blasio
talk
讲
about
一些负面的
ventilators
评
and
论。
PPE and that
下一
kind
个
of
问
thing.
题
But what about
大家
hospital
很多
capacity?
在
And
谈论
you know,
呼吸机和这
So
个
we're doing that. Great question. We're
国防生产
increasing
法。
capacities. Right. We're
总统
actually
说
adding
我们
on
在
through the
增加
Army
生
Corps of
产量。
Engineers. This is a big job, and we're doing it in many states, not
根
just New
据
York
这
and
个
California. By the way, Gavin
工
Newsom's
程
been
兵、
terrific. I have to tell you.
陆
the
军工
governor
程兵，我
of
们
California,
在
we're
增
getting
加
along
生产
really
量。
well. We're working hard for them. As you know, the hospital
在
ship, the other hospital ship,
加州，
and they are incredible. That just
我们还有
arrived
另一
in
艘
Los Angeles.
军队
fully
医
stocked.
疗船。
But Gavin Newsom has been really good, and so many of the governors have been good. And these are governors that I've been fighting with
所以
about different
很
things
多
for a
的
long
州
time.
长
The
都是
forest
非
fires in
常
his
棒
case,
的
and the border, and all sorts of things. And
他们
here we are, getting
像
along very well. So,
加州，他们一
and
直
I
有
appreciate
大
his nice
火呀
words. I really、
边
do.
境
I
问
really
题呀
appreciate
等
it.
等。
It's and the people with me
我
appreciate it.
非常感激他的
You have another question?
正面的
I
评
was
论
going to。say on the issue of hospital capacity
Yeah.
and
你还有
beds
问
and
题吗？
being able to
Yeah,
treat
那
people and
good
not
question.
问题是说这个
Yeah,
医
well,
院
well,
的
I
这
mean,
个
look, we just
容
started
量
this, we were just notified, and
看它
some
不
of
够。
the governors have asked us to
总
build
统说我们刚开
hospitals
始，
through
我们已经
extensions,
通知
through
他
portable
们，
hospitals, through
那
things. And,
很
you know, normally this, in all fairness, this is
各
done
州
normally for
有
local
建
government.
临
We
时
don't go
医院，
to cities and expand a hospital
所
that's
以这
existing.
应该
But we're doing
是
it now because
地
we
区
really
政
are
府
equipped to
的
do it.
工
We have
作，
incredible people.
但是现在联邦
And
政府也
we're
在干这
expanding
些
hospitals. We're building many portable hospitals.
事情。
Not only Javits Center, where you have
我
4,
们
plus you have 4
建了
medical
很
centers, but
多
we're doing it in New Jersey.
临时医院，不光是在纽约的 Javits
We're doing it in
Center 中
California.
心，
We're doing some
我
in
们
the
还在
state of
其他的
Washington,
州，
despite the fact
像
that
加
I'm
州，
not appreciative of
还
the
在
way
华盛顿
the
州。
governor speaks. We're doing it
虽
in
然
a
我
lot
对
of
那个华盛
different
顿州
locations.
州长的
And we're doing a lot
评
of
论并
expansions.
不
We're
感
also
冒，
taking over buildings, and
我
the city will go in, or
也
the
很
state
扩大
usually
现有
will
的
go
医
in,
院。
take over a building, and we go in and equip it and make it so that it's now
一
hospital
旦建好，这
functioning.
个
They call
城
it
市就
hospital
会
functioning.
接
We're doing a lot of that.
接管这
Again,
些
this is normally done
医
by
院。
governors and then give it to
我
the city
们
to do. You
做了
need
很
to bring
多
it into the point. But
其
we're
实
doing
这
a lot
些
of that,
本来是
and
应该
they're doing
州
a
长
great
做，
job,
然后
mostly
再
done
交
by
给
the Army Corps of
城市
Engineers
政
and
府
FEMA.，
但现在都
Questions
由
on those
联邦
governors.
在
You and
做
your。team obviously have had classified
还有
briefings
这
on the
个
pandemic. I
飞马
assume for a
紧急
while
事
now.
务
Were the governors
事务。
included in those briefings
下一个
that you
问
would have got in
题，
January and February?
That
When
I
did you
don't
warn
know.
the
他
governors
说
as you would have had the
州
information
长
first?
在
Well,
你
they
的
say
这
I had
些
classified
这
the
个
briefings a long
大
time
疫
ago,
情的这些
which
简
wasn't
报
true, but-
中
but,
吗？
we've had briefings, and as I
总
know it,
统
the
说
governors have also had many briefings.
我们
by
有
the
每
federal
日的
government.
简
Tell them
报
this，thing was coming. This was
并且
Oh, I think we
州
knew-
长
I
也有
think we
很多
knew
的
for a
简
while,
报
but。if you take a look, I
这
was
是
the
一
first
个
one to say to China, and I
总统
have
说
great respect for China, I will tell you that, but I was the first one when they had the problem to say you
总统
can't
说我
come
们
in.
很
And if you
尊
go
重
back,
中
that's a
国
long time ago.
So if I can follow up.
那
Question
我很早就组织了中国来的课。下一个问题，就讲纽约州
We're accumulating
总
a
统
lot.
说
We're
我
taking a
们
lot
制
through
造
the
了
act.
很
We're
多
taking a lot.
并
We're actually
且
taking
攒
a
了
lot.
很多
And we're going to have, in a
并
very short
且
period of time, and Peter's doing it along with some very talented people.
使用了很
Some
多
really talented people.
知道
It's very
彼得也
impressive,
做了
actually.
很多
But we're
事
actually taking
情
a lot.
他们
We're
非
going to
常
have
的
money. And if for some reason,
有效
if for some reason you're
我们
going to
其实
need
有很
even
多
more, we're going to be prepared. As an
如
example,
果
we
你
now we've
需要
given
更
out
多
thousands
我
and
们会
thousands,
帮
which
助
I
他
think you'll
们
know. We accumulated
其
thousands.
实我
We
们
given out. But we
给
right
了
now,
几
I
千
think in
台
the
的
stockpile we have over
呼吸机
10,000. The reason we
我
don't
们
want to
也
distribute
攒了
that
很
is
多
for exactly what you're saying. If there's a
积累
mad
了很
rush in
多
New York
因
or
为
maybe
我
in
们没有
Louisiana
把它
or
们
maybe
完
someplace else,
全
we don't want to have given out all of
都
those
分发出去
units,
你
the
知道
ventilators,
在
and then in those sections we give them
我们
to
不想
Iowa,
把
but
所
they
有
didn't have a
的
problem in Iowa. We
库
give them to
存
Idaho. We
都
give them to
给
lots
某
of
一个
different
州
places,
结
and
果
now we have to
或
try
者
and
是
get
给
them
了那
back,
些根
which
本
is
不
never
需
easy
要
to
的
do.
就是盲
No,
目
no,
的
John,
分
what I'm
发
saying is this.
所以我们截止
We are
等于分
prepared
批
for things that
分
nobody
量
has
的
any
分
idea
发他
that
说
we'd be
我们
prepared. And you know what?
准
When I took
正
this
在
over,
准备
it
这
was
个
an empty box.
很
We
多
didn't have
大家
testing.
并
We didn't have anything. We had
不
a
知道
broken
的
system
这
there. We
些
had a broken system of stockpiling. We had a lot of broken systems. And I'm not just
这些
blaming President Obama.
急需
You
哈
go long before
我
that.
们
But in
我
all fairness to all of the former
继承了
presidents,
一
none
个
of
就
them
是
ever thought a thing like this could
并不运
happen.
转的这个
But
机制
we have
我
right
并不
now
是
10,000
在
ventilators
批
in
评奥巴
stockpile.
马但是
We are
没有
ready
人
to go with
预
those
见了这
ventilators. What we
种
don't want is where
大
we
疫情
distribute
的
the
爆
ventilators
发
like we did in New York, and they
我
didn't
们
need them or they didn't
不
know
想
or
发
they
生的
didn't
就
use them.
是我们分
If we
发
need them
给
in
他
New
们
York,
结果
we're going
他
to
们
have plenty.
根
Now,
本需
we're
要
getting a
他们也
lot
不
of
知道他们
ventilators
有
in the next short period
所
of
以
time. A lot of ventilators are coming in the next short period of
其实
time.
我们
We're
在短
manufacturing. We
时
went to
间
all
内
of the companies.
马
I
上
read their
会得
names.
到很多
We went to all
并
of
且
those
我们
companies.
会
They
制
are
造
going
很
to
多
go,
呼
I
吸
would
机
say, round the clock, Peter.
我
Is that
们
right?
跟
They're
每个
going
公
round the
司
clock.
都说了
Like
其
you said,
实
is that fast enough?
在
100,000? Because some of
Let's
these
Let's
people
put it
in
this way.
3 weeks.
Let's put it this way. We've
为此努力
distributed thousands and thousands already. Normally, these would be bought by states, just so you understand.
让我
Normally,
告
these
诉
would
你
be bought
们
by
我们已
governors.
经分发了
They
几
were
千台呼吸机
I don't want to say unprepared, but nobody was prepared for this. What we've done, nobody can even
我不
imagine.
想说
And,
他
and
们
by the
没
way,
有
I've
做
had
好准
governors
备
tell
因
me,
为这种事情
including
无法准备
Democrat
无法预
governors,
见
they said, we can't
这
believe
些
you've been able to do this.
州
And
长
you go to
包
other
括
countries,
民主
and
党
we're
的
not
州
only
长
competing against states, because we don't want
他
to
们
compete
都
against
说
states. We've had
我
a
们
couple of cases where states were buying, we
没
were
想到
buying.
你就
And
是
I
能
said
做的这么
specifically,
好
because I heard about it, pull back,
所
let the
以
state buy it. Immediately,
这个
the
州
price goes way down, and they end
也
up buying it. But
是
we're also
在
competing against
购
many countries
购买这
because
些呼
many
吸机
countries need the ventilators. That's why I want to build more, if
其
possible.
实有
John,
很
maybe we'll take
多
one more
国家
question.
都需要呼吸机
The question I
所以
was
我
going
们
to are you able
正在大量生
to
产
guarantee
下一个问
for
题
sure these states, these hospitals, that everybody who
他说
needs a
你能够
ventilator
保证
will get a ventilator?
So here's what I'll
这
tell you.
些
I think we're in really good shape.
州和医
This
院
is a pandemic the
如
likes
果
of which
需要呼
nobody's
吸
seen
机
before.
他们就能
I
得
think
到
we're in great shape.
总统
I
说我
think that
觉得
number one,
可以
we've distributed
他说
ventilators is a big deal.
没有
We've
人预见这
distributed
个大疫
vast
情但
numbers of
是
ventilators, and we're prepared
我
to
们
do
分发了
vast
很
numbers.
多
I think we're in great shape.
我
I
们
hope that's the
并
case.
且准
I
备
hope that
生
we're
产
going
很
to have
多
leftovers so we
我
can
觉
help
得
other
我
people,
们
other
现
countries.
在
Who needs one will be able to get a ventilator?
Look,
能
don't
够
be a cutie
有
pie,
足够
okay?
的呼吸
You
机
know, everyone who needs one. Nobody's ever done what we've done. Nobody's done anything like we've been able to do. And everything I took over
总统
was a
说
mess. It was a broken
我们所
country
做
in
的
so many ways. In so many
前无古
ways
人
other than this. We had a
他
bad
说我继
testing
承了一
system. We
个
had a bad
机制
stockpile system. We had nothing in the
并不完
stockpile
全
system.
运
So
转
I
正
wouldn't
常
tell
的
me what
继
you
承
tell,
这么
what,
个
you know,
机制
like being a wise guy. Go ahead.
Mr. President, you signed a bill today the size of which could
好，
choke
下一
an
个问
entire
题。
herd of horses.
问题
And
是
before you even had a chance to put pen to paper,
签了
people were already talking about the need for
这个
phase
法
4.
令。
Yeah.
Do you see a
Well,
need for
it'll-
phase
yeah.
four, and where do you think the priorities
Well,
would lie?
it-
已经有人说，
Maybe something where we're gonna have to
在
help
第
states,
4期的
because
这
the states
个
have been hurt very badly.
刺
And
激
the
法案，
beautiful
就是
thing
将
about
来
our country is
总
6.2
统
trillion
说，
because it is
也许我们
2.2
要
plus
帮助
4.
州，因为每个州都
$6.2 trillion
经济受到打击，
And we can handle that easily because of who
有
we are,
这个
what we are. It's
我
our,
们可
it's
以
our money.
解
It's
决这些
our,
问题，
we
因
are the
为
ones. It's our currency.
我们这是
We
我们
can
的
handle
钱
it,，and we can handle.
这是
I
我们
watched
国家的钱，这
Jerome
是
Powell the other day, and he did a good job. He said, "We'll do whatever we
我
have
看
to
这
do."
个
John, we have to do whatever we have to
质
do.
问炮，他说我们要做我们必须做的事情，
And then
就
the
是这
economy.
个
Life and safety.
美联储的
It seems like earlier in the week you said we love each other, but now it seems like it
We'll
could be
see.
longer.
A lot of things
We're
can.
heading into a long weekend.
Yeah.
What do you tell those folks who think they're going to have to wait this out for a while?
I tell them if it's your life, then it's your safety. And
我
if
告
we need
诉
more
他
time,
们
they're not going to have a
这
problem waiting it
是
out.
有关你的
It's
生命、
life,
你的
it's
安
safety,
全。
and
如
it's
果
our
你
country.
人们需要
But
更
we have
长
to
时
take care of
间
people.
在家
At the
隔
same time,
离
we
的
want to get
话
them out. They want
是
to
对
get
他们
out. Our
好，
country
所以
was
我
built
们
on
作为
that.
国家，我们
But
必
we have to make
须
sure it's safe. And everyone
保
knows
护
that.
他们。
Okay,
如
one
果
more
他们
question,
需要出来，
please.
他们安全可以出来的时候，他们会出来。好，最后一个问题，
Organization as recently as today, and your own health officials have said
这
that
是
any treatments that
WHO
we use for coronavirus should be scientifically
他说
demonstrated to be effective.
任何
But at the same
治
time, you
疗
said that chloroquine, as an example,
必须
could
证
be
明有
used to
效
cure，very
但
soon.
是
So, is the WHO
你
and your
同
health
时又
officials
说
wrong on this point? Are they?
要
So
有一个
hydroxychloroquine,
很
which
快
is
出来
supposed
一
to
个
be
治
the
疗方
better of
案
the，two,
比如是个氯
seems to
喹
have。some good backing. We're going to see.
总
Look,
统在说氯
Governor
喹
Cuomo,
有一
we've given
些
him 10,000 units.
证明
It's a
有
lot.
效哈，
And they're
我
testing
们
it.
给
It's a
他
malaria
了
drug. It's also a drug for arthritis.
10000
But and it's
个
phenomenal for those two things, as you
氯
probably
喹，我
know,
们给了
especially
纽
for
约州。
malaria. But we're going to find out soon. I hope
这
it
是
works.
给
There
治
are
疟疾
signs
的
that it could be doing
我们
well.
会
They are testing
很快就会
10,000
知
units. It's a
道结
lot.
果。
And I tell you what, I want to thank the
他
FDA
们
because they
在
approved it
测
immediately based on the
试
fact that it was
1
already
万
out for a different
个
purpose. They approved it immediately. So look, hydroxychloroquine is a
所以
very powerful drug for certain things, and it's a very
这是一
successful
个
drug.
很
There's reason to
强
believe
的
that it could
药。
be successful here. Now, the reason I disagree
就
with
这个
you,
氯
and I
喹
think Tony would
有
disagree
人
with
觉
me,
得
but
是
the
有
reason
效
I
的。
disagree
我
with you is
对
that we
你
have a pandemic.
陈述
We
的
have people
不
dying now.
不同意的时候，他说我们现在有个大疫情，我们有很多人在濒临死亡，我们不会花很长时间来测试这些药。那如果已经有人濒临死亡了，那我们就可以马上用这种测试的药物。用在这个濒临死的这个高危的病人身上，所以我们可以，我们跟那个食品药物局谈的时候，他说我们正常手续程序要1年，他说我跟他们说我们必须要马上测试这些新药，当然要保证安全。其实很多人正在死亡线上挣扎，所以我们有一些药有44年都没有被批准，但是有人突然濒临死亡，我们有这种药有一线希望，我们就会使用它。
Before you go, could I ask you something that just popped on Wall Street Journal? Says headline: The Trump administration plans to suspend the collection of import tariffs for 3 months, according to administration officials. True or not true?
It's not even talk to me about it. Just more fake news, John. Look, not even talk
他
to
说
me. They're
没
talking
有，
about
这是一个假新闻。
the only one I've heard that from.
没有
Like
人
as
跟
an
我说
example,
过提过这件
China
事
pays
情。
25% interest on $250 billion worth of product that they send in. That's a lot. Everybody keepes saying, "Oh, are you going to suspend the tariffs?" Well, the answer's no.
中国
President Xi
付了
never even brought it up last night. It wasn't
付
even
20%的
It's fake
关税
news. Tell the，
但
Wall Street
有人
Journal.
就制
You
造
know, the
假
Wall Street
新闻
Journal does a
说
lot of
要
fake news
那
too.
个
It's
暂
pretty
停中
amazing.
国的这
So
些
I want to
关
leave
税，
leave
就
you
增
by
加的
just
关
saying I want
税
to thank。
他说这是假
you for
新
being
闻。
here. I want to thank the American public and all of the people
好，我
that
走之
have
前
helped
我
so
要
much, and
感
we're
谢
going
大
to give
家，
the podium
感谢美
to
国大众。
Vice President Pence, who
我
has
们
been
把这
incredible.
个讲台
And if
交
he's
给
tired
副
and
总
if he's
统
not
彭
answering
斯，
questions like
他
he should,
是非
we
常
have
棒
a
的，
great
他非
reason
常
because he hasn't slept in about 4 weeks.
累。如
But I
果
want to thank him
他
because he
不
has
能
dedicated.
回答
I
你
mean,
的
he
问
is a
题，那就是
dedicated
因为
person.
他
Long
这几周
before this,
都
but
没有睡
the
好。
job he's done has been
他是非
fantastic. So I want
常
to thank Mike, all the people on the task force, and FEMA,
忠于职
and
守的
Army
人，
Corps, everybody.
他
You've been
们这
fantastic.
个
Thank you all very
行
much.
动抗疫行动小组都做得非常棒，还有这个紧急事务署，还有工程 陆军工程兵等，他们做了非常棒的工作。
Well, good evening, everyone, and
好，现在副总统在
White House Coronavirus
回答
Task
问
Force
题。
met
好，
today. We
晚
continue
上好。
at the President's
今
direction
天这个抗疫
focus on
特别
slowing
小
the spread of
组
the coronavirus through
根据
mitigation, expanded testing,
总统
and
的命令
ensuring that our
要
healthcare workers have the supplies
减
they
缓
need.
疫情
With
扩
cases
展，
now in all
来
50
保证
states, and
医护
more
人
than
员
50%
有
of
他们需要
cases
的防护
in
和
the New York area.
和物
It's
资。
more important than ever to
在纽约
adhere
地
to the
区
guidance of state and local
有
authorities. And
是
for every
重灾
American,
区，所以
the best thing
那
that
些
you
地方的
can
人
do,
就
young
是
or old,
必
is
须
put into practice the
要
president's
遵行，并且
coronavirus
美国人无有
guidelines for America.
老幼都要
It is the way that
认
each
真
of us can
的
do our part.
执行这个
Since we
规
last
则
spoke,，as you all know, the
这
president
是我们
signed the
每个人应该
Coronavirus
做
Aid
的。
Relief and Economic Security Act. This
总
makes
统已经
direct
签署
payments
了
available to American families. The
经
average
济
family of four
刺
will
激
receive
法
a direct
这
payment
是
of
马
some
上把钱送到
$3,400.
美国人手
It also
中。
covers payroll for small
所以
businesses across the country for a
四口之
period
家
of
可以大概
several
得到
months, so that even
3400
if
美
the
元，
business is closed, they can continue to
才
have
几
a
个
loan which
月
will be
都
completely
可以
forgiven
拿到工
if they
资。
keep their whole team on
哪
the
怕
payroll.
那
There's
些
support for critical industries, for hospitals, and for states as
工
well.
厂或者
As of this
他们
evening,
的工
the
作单
President
位已
has
经
issued 12 major
停
disaster
工，
declarations, most recently for the states of Maryland and Missouri.
并且
And on the
今
subject
晚
of
已经有
vaccines,
12个地
Emory
方
University
宣布了
in
进入
Atlanta
紧急
today
状况，
began enrolling volunteers in a phase 1 clinical trial of another
并且
possible
在
vaccine
亚特兰
for
大
the
已经有
coronavirus.
人开
On
始
the
了
subject of
又一
testing,
个疫苗的第
testing
一阶
is
段
available
测
in all
试。
50 states, and as a
这
great
些
credit to our partnership
病毒
with
检测
commercial
已经在
laboratories
所有
across
的
the country,
州都可以
this
进
morning it was
行。
reported that more than
全国所有
685,000
的
tests
实
have
验
already
室
been performed, and we are particularly grateful to
都
the
在
American
参与这
Hospital
个
Association,
测试。
whose members are now
我非
reporting
常
into
感
the
激
CDC and FEMA in real
美
time,
国的医院
giving
和
our
他们
experts
这
more
个医
visibility
院协会，
on those that have contracted the disease
他们这些
around
采
the
集的
country.
数
The President
据
mentioned this, but it's worth mentioning
给我
again.
们
Apple has a new app
很
out.
好的资
It
料。
is a screening tool that will help
现在我们也
Americans
知道
determine whether they should be tested. It has a easy format, question and answer. If you have issues about whether or not a test is appropriate for you, you can use the new Apple app to accomplish that as well. On the subject of supplies, the President spoke about the priority that we're placing on personal protective equipment, and
是
especially
苹果有一
ventilators,
个
and I
新的
will
app 可以帮
add to
你
that. I can tell you that this weekend we'll be
预测
reporting
你是
on
不是需要
aggressive efforts that
受到这个检测
our
哈。
supplies stabilization task force
他
at
说我
FEMA
们
is
有
taking to import medical
非常
supplies from around the world. We're working as we
采取
speak on
强有力的
airlift
措
from a
施
number of countries
措施
around the
来
globe to deliver very important medical protective equipment to the United States. At the present moment, you've heard the numbers,
来
but
从
from
全
the
世界各
Strategic
地向
National
美国
Stockpile, we distributed
输
more
送
than 7
重要
million
的
N95
防护设
respirators
备，
or masks, more than almost 3 million face
包括这
shields,
些
more
N95
than
的口
8,000
罩，
ventilators,
有
and
300万的
donations
面罩，
to
还有
the strategic
呼吸机，
national
还
supply.
有
We've mentioned
捐
Apple
款。
donating some 9 million masks that can be used by healthcare workers, but Merck recently
刚
announced
才我们
plans to
说
donate
苹果已
500,000
经
masks, USPS
捐助了
500,000
900万
masks, and a little company called Puritan in Maine is
面罩
actually in the business now of
口罩。
manufacturing swabs. So businesses large and small all across America are rising
很多
to the challenge. As the President noted, he will
大小的
attend
公
the
司都已
embarkation
经
of the
行动起来，
U.S. Navy
来
ship
是
Comfort tomorrow from Norfolk.
生产这些
The
自我检
U.S.
测的
Navy
这
ship
个
Mercy
试
arrived
剂。
in Los Angeles today.
美
We
国
will
的
continue to focus
海军
resources
医
and
疗船
supplies
只
on those areas around the country that have seen significant
要
outbreak.
开往纽约，
But let me send a
和加
word
州。
to hospital workers around the country. We continue
让我
to
们告诉
hear
那些
anecdotally and
医
occasionally
医
see
疗
in media
工作
reports people
者
who have concerns that their hospital may be running short on personal protective equipment in the days ahead.
大家有一
Just
些
encourage you to
忧虑，
alert
当地
your
的
hospital
医院可能
administrator.
不够
Hospital administrators,
床位。
please alert your state health
如果有
director.
这种
Tonight,
情
Administrator
有
Gaynor
这
at
种
FEMA
情
will be
况的
speaking to
话，
all of the state
每个
emergency
医院都
directors in America to
把
talk
这
about
些
the availability of
预
resources,
警
but also encouraging them
汇
to
报
have
给
a
州政
plan
府。
to perhaps even use their National Guard
我
to
们也
move
鼓励他
medical
们有一个
equipment
计
from
划，并且
storehouses
用
to
这个
hospitals. We'll be working very closely with state
国
emergency
防卫队
managers on issues of
让他们
logistics. But today,
来
we're
帮助
fortunate to be joined by two members of
地
the
方政
cabinet
府。
who have been very
今
busy
天我
making
们
sure that
非
the
常
children
荣幸
of
有2
America
位内阁
have
成
the
员加
meals
入我
that they
们，
need while school has been suspended in so many places
他们
around
帮
the
助
country. Secretary
美
DeVos
国
and
的孩
Secretary
子
Perdue are
得
going to share some
到免费
exciting
午
news
餐。
and progress that we've made in feeding children who need nutrition assistance
等下
while
2位部长会
schools
给
are
我
closed.
们
The truth is
发
many
布
underprivileged
振奋人
kids
心的
would
消
not be
息。
getting school meals apart from the
虽然
fact
很
that
多
as we stand here today, our administration
学
has
校
approved
关
waivers
门
for all
那
50
让那
states to give
些
them
需要
flexibilities to work with local
帮助
partners
的
to
家
get
庭
meals
的
to
孩
children that are
子
in need,
低收入
and
家庭
also
的
a
孩子就
nationwide waiver to allow
没
parents
有
to
了
pick up meals.
免费午
What's
餐，
most
我们
exciting today
把
is
这个
our
问
two
题解
cabinet
决，
secretaries
向他们提
will
供免费
reflect
午
we have
餐。
private sector partners, a few of
所
whom
以
are with us
有2
today,
位
who are
部
helping
长
us speed important meals to children and to
加入
families
我们，
around the country. You'll
他
hear in a
们
few
帮
moments
助我们
from
把
the chairman of
这个
McLean
免
Global
费午餐
Logistics and also the CEO of
在
Panera
全国
Bread
分发
about the
给
work
孩
that
子
they are
们。
both doing to literally deliver
这
millions
个
of meals
Panera
to
Bread 的
American
这
families.
个
It's truly an
餐馆
inspiring
他
story,
们
and I look forward
提
to
供了
hearing it from them and
几
sharing
百
it
万
with
家
you.
庭
But it's just one more
食
example,
物。
as President Trump said, that we'll get through this,
现在
and we'll
就
get through this
是
together.
又一
Not
个
only a whole
例
federal
子，就
government
像总统
approach,
说，
working with
我
all
们
of our state partners, working with
要
healthcare
共同努
authorities
力
at the local，
共度
level,
难关。
but also working with businesses
我
that have
们
been
也
willing to
跟
step up and stand at the
医
point of the
疗
need
方面的
and
专
be there
家
for the most
合
vulnerable
作，
and help us meet the needs of our children and of
还有
our
其他
families.
领域的
And on behalf of the President and
人
grateful
们
nation,
合作
we thank you.
来
Madam Secretary.
来提供
Thank
给
you so
需要
much,
帮助
Mr.
的
Vice
人。
President. And I just
好。
want to begin by
谢谢
thanking
副总
President
统。
Trump for his clear-eyed leadership during these challenging times for our country and for our
需
world.
要帮助
And
谢谢感
Vice
谢
President
总
Pence for
统
your tremendous
的
leadership of the task force and for truly
卓越
making a
领导。
difference, making a difference that's certainly true for America's students and teachers as well.
感
Most of
谢
them, as Owen said a moment ago,
这届政
experiencing
府让他们
unprecedented disruptions in learning and in their lives. I want each
照
of
顾
them
这
to know
些
that President Trump and his
在这个
administration
大
are
疫情
taking
之下照
decisive
顾美
action
国民
to
众，
keep them safe and healthy so they
他
can
们
continue learning.
做了非
We
常
must rise to the
及
challenge
时
of
的
educating all children from all walks of life who all of
决定，
a
他说
sudden
我们
are
必
in
须
many, many different learning environments. And they're counting
面
on
对
all
挑
of us to
战
find
来提
solutions.
供
I'm
教
really
育
pleased to be here
给
today for the
全国
announcement
的
of another
学生。
terrific solution
我
initiated
非
under
常
the
高兴
President's
能够
leadership.
在
Secretary
来
Perdue
到
is
这
going to
里
share details of this
来
public-private
宣布另一
partnership.
个
But before that, I'd like to
行动。
provide a
等
few
下
additional
财
comments
政部长会
and talk about the work that the Department of Education has been doing
提
on
供
behalf of
具体信
students,
息。
parents,
那
and
我
teachers
现在
during
先
this
作
national
为
emergency.
教育部
My team and I are in
来
contact daily with governors,
讲述一
state school
下
chiefs, college presidents, superintendents, and
这个
local education leaders. We
我
are
们
quickly
每
responding
天
to
都
their
跟
needs so they
各
can do
个
the
方
next
面的
right thing for
教
their
育机
students.
构保持
Most
联
governors
系
have，decided
所
to
以
close some or
他
all
们
schools in their
可以
states for
让
a
这个
period of time. As a result, students
他们
may not be able to
地方
take
政府可以
federally
做出正确的
mandated
决定。
standardized
大部
tests
分
this spring.
人
And
地
the
方
president
都已
took
经关
action
闭
to
了
make sure they didn't have to.
学校，
We made the
学
process
生
to
无
delay these
法
tests for a year, fast and painless.
无
As
法
of
就
today,
是完
47
成
states have
这
requested
个
the delay or the waiver, and
要求的
46
一
have
些
been approved within a 24-hour
考
period.
试。
We also released additional information
那很
making
多
clear
这
the
个
expectation
考
that
试 延缓的这个申请都已经被批准了。
The transition to
我们
distance and
的
online learning
教
needs to happen
育
quickly,
会继续
and it needs to
提供
include meaningful instruction and
很多
supports for children with
网上
disabilities.
教学必
Learning
须
should
马
not
上
stop or be denied because schools fear
开始
federal regulators or fear doing something
特别是
different.
那些残
Distance
废的
learning is
学生，
happening. States like New
对
Hampshire
他
and
们
Florida
要
have implemented phased and tiered
照顾到
approaches to meet the needs of students in their states.
在
Other schools and states are
佛罗里
implementing
达
creative
他
approaches
们
and
也
working through
有一
practical
些
realities
好
to
的计
help
划，
students continue learning.
并
In
且
remote Colorado mountain
根
towns
据
without
具体
internet
情况来帮
connectivity,
助
teachers
学
are
生
putting
学
weekly
习。
learning packets together, and they're holding office hours by phone to help their students when they're stuck.
老
South
师
Carolina
每
is
周
deploying
都
3,000 buses with
把这
mobile
个
Wi-Fi hotspots to help kids in remote
学习
areas
内容准备
access
好，
learning that way. This national
特别是
emergency
在那
gives
个
all
疫
of us an
情严重的
opportunity
地
to come
方，
together to
让
educate
学生能
all
够远程
students
学习。
out of principle. It's simply not
所
an
以我
acceptable
们
option to educate none
大
of
家
them
协
out of
同
fear.
努力
So
来
we
提供
stand
教
ready to
育，
assist educators and their students. We're
所以我们
compiling all
在
of the
这
tools we
里
have
要
produced
帮
along
助
with the
那
great
些教育
resources
工作
that
者
states
和
are
学
offering
生。
to help keep learning going. There are already many existing online learning platforms, and
我们
many states were
要帮
already
助
offering a robust menu of
所有的学
courses
生
virtually.
现在已经
We will
有
be adding that information to our website
网
on
上的
an
教学，
ongoing basis, and that site is
我们会
ed.gov
在我们的网站
/coronavirus.
上增加
We're
内
using every
容。
tool possible to extend flexibility to states and communities.
我们
This includes
使用
funding
每
flexibility. Where we don't have the latitude, we're working with Congress on solutions.
我
One
们会使
area
用
is
多
providing
种工
direct
具
financial
来帮助
support to
学生。
students, families, and teachers. We will propose Congress provide
其中一方面
micro-grants
就
to help
是
students
给
continue to learn.
提供
These would be
经济
focused
援
toward the
助
most disadvantaged
和
students in our states or
贷
communities
款
where
来
their
帮
school
助学
system
生
has
继
simply
续学
shut
习
down. I've
这
always
些是
believed
给
education
那
funding should be tied to
低
students,
收入
not
的学
systems,
生
and
受
that
到疫
necessity
情
has
影
never been
响，
more evident. We'll also support microgrants to
并
teachers to
且
help
他
them
们的需
pivot to
求
supporting
比
all
往
of their
日更
students in a
要
different environment than they've been used to.
严重
We。know they are dealing with an unprecedented situation.
他们
But
现
it's
在
been truly
面临一个不同
inspiring
的
to
环
hear
境，
story after
是
story
前所
of
未有
teachers
的。
rising to the
但
occasion
是我
and
们
meeting
听
the
到了
unique
很多
needs
振
of
奋
each
人
of their
心的
students.
消息。
Ultimately, we
很
know
多
everyone's grappling with the challenge of keeping students safe and healthy
老
while
师
also building
都
capacity
能
for
够
remote learning. It's an important
面
moment
对
to
挑战，
realize that learning can and does
这
happen
是很
anywhere
重要的
and
时
everywhere.
候。
I think of the Texas
我
dad who
们
started a daily
意识
webinar
到这个
interviewing
学
friends
习
and
可以在
acquaintances
任何
in
地方、
wildly
任何
different
形式
careers
进
and
行，
helping students understand what it takes to work in that chosen career.
让他们
Or the history teacher in
知
Virginia
道
who connects with his students through a live stream every
让
morning.
孩子能够
I think of the
选
art
择不
teacher in
同
Tennessee
的
who's broadcasting her lessons over social media. Or of Second
这
Lady
个
Karen
将来的
Pence,
这个职
who
业的
prepares
方向。
packages of art materials and projects for her students to pick up with their
这我
school
们这
lunches.
个副总
Or the
统
principal in
的
Alabama, who's going online
副
daily,
总统的
giving
夫人
morning
也参
announcements,
与
leading the
进
Pledge
来
of， Allegiance, and a moment of silence. And I think of the many
然
schools
后
that have
还有
distributed
人
laptops and
在
tablets to students who
领导这
don't have
个
them so they can
早晨
continue
的
learning over
对
video
国旗的
conference.
宣誓
And the
仪
ones
式，
that just don't have that option currently, like the remote Colorado towns.
有一
Joy
些人
Hoffmeister, the
没
school chief in
有
Oklahoma,
这个条
may have
件
put this
的，
best.
像科罗拉
She
多的
told
那
me,
些很
school
偏
isn't
远
a
的地
building.
区，
It's students, teachers, and families working together to advance
然后
learning.
他们是
She's right.
有人的反
And
馈
that's our
就是
shared
说
mission.，Let me also touch
学
very
校不
briefly
光
on
是
how
一
we're
个建
supporting
筑，
students
它就
pursuing
是
higher education.
学生和老师
At the
共
beginning of
同
this outbreak, we immediately gave
努力来学习知
institutions
识
of higher education regulatory flexibility so learning could go
我们
online.
给
And
高
it
等
did.
教
In
育
many cases, it was a
学
seamless
府
transition, and learning
这
continues.
种
And we're continuing to cut federal bureaucracy and let schools rise to meet
弹
this
性，让
challenge.
他们能够在
We've
网上
vastly
授
improved
课。
distance learning policies,
多
which are
人都
working quickly to enact we're working quickly to enact for
可以
traditional higher education. Shorter-term
调
programs
整
and
尽
apprenticeships
快调整
also
来
need
适
to
应
grow
这个
and
新情
thrive.
况。
And as the president has so effectively championed, workers need these options as they look to come back stronger than ever from these momentary setbacks. The president
就
promised to
像总
defeat
统
this
说的，我们
invisible enemy and keep
全
our
民必
economy
须
strong.
要
He took immediate
战胜
action
这
and
个
provided
看不
student
见
loan
的
relief to tens of
病
millions
毒
of borrowers.
敌人。
We set all federally
他
held
给
student
了
loans to
学生
0%
贷
interest
款
rates and
的
deferred
利
payments for 60
息暂
days.
停，
Now with the CARES Act that
并
he
且
signed just earlier
有
today,
60
Mr.
天
President.
的
Those actions will extend to 6 months.
延缓不需要还
these
学生贷
actions
款
and。others we've taken for those who become
我们希望
delinquent
这
on
些
payments or
行
have
动
had other issues with their student loan payments will
对
help
那些
alleviate the
有
financial
困难的
burden and
人
anxiety
提
students
供了
and their
一
families
些
are feeling during these tough times.
经济上减
These
缓
are
他们的
tough
压力。
times, but we the people are tougher. So
这
in
是我
closing,
们
let me
的
offer
艰难
just
时
a few
刻。
words of encouragement.
我
To our students,
我们是非
your
常坚
educations
强，能够
can
战胜
and
这些
should
困难的。
continue. Learning can happen anywhere.
你
and
们
we
的
will help make sure it does.
教育应该
We
继
believe in
续
you.，
我们可以在
To our
任何地方
teachers,
学习
we will。
我
support you
们
and help you.
相信你们能
You are
够
doing
战胜这一
great
切
work.。
作
up.
为老师，我们会
And
全
to
力支
every
持
parent
你
and
们，
family,
你们会
we
做
know these
非
are
常棒、
challenging
出
times.
色的工作。
But it's in the face of great challenges
对
that
于
Americans
家庭来
have
说，我们知
always
道这是
risen to
非
the
常
occasion and
富挑战
embraced
的时
greatness.
刻。我
And
知
I know
道
we'll
美
do
国
that
人一
once
直
again.
能够面
I
对
thank
挑
again the
战，战
President
胜
and the Vice
这一
President
切。
for their leadership
我
on behalf of America's
再次感
students
谢
and on
总
behalf
统、
of
副
all of
总
us.
统对他
And
们
now I'll
卓
turn to my
绝的
friend
领
Secretary
导。
Sonny Perdue to share more on how
现
we're
在
working together
我们
to help support student nutrition.
让 Senator Perdue 来
Thank you very much, Mr. Vice
谈
President.
有关
While
学生的
dedicated
营养问题。
educators are out there trying to continue to fill our kids
Viola,
with knowledge even when they're not in a school site, USDA is working very hard to continue to fill their tummies. You may know that many of these children
Viola,
receive
你在吗？
breakfast and lunch at their school sites. And, our federal government participates with our dedicated school nutritional and lunch professionals throughout the country. And we have issued waiver after waiver to make this flexibilities available for things that make sense when children cannot congregate in a singular location. That's one of the first waivers we did, we issued, and when Congress gave us the authority to issue more, we are turning those waivers around in rapid speed, really less than 24 hours. So we're very fortunate that we've got a great team at our Food, Nutrition, Consumer Services team working 24/7 to make sure that our kids continue to be fed. It's a great partnership that's happening out there. I want to mention one other simple but very important point about another matter that your listeners and readers may be very interested in. That's the food supply chain. USDA obviously is integrally involved in the food supply chain. We've worked with all those producers, even the ones who provide equipment and materials for our farmers and cattlemen and producers out there to make sure they have what they need. They're part of the critical and essential workforce there to continue. And the good news is those folks are staying on the job. Those who've grown it, those who are processing it, our inspectors who are grading it just the same way they always had. Those folks who are delivering it, packing it, delivering it, stocking those shelves, and checking out those customers. That's the great news about our food supply chain. And it's a great American story, Mr. Vice President, under your leadership, the President's leadership. This is that whole American approach. Federal government can't do it all. We got great partners out there in the food supply chain, as well as our food nutrition services and our partners in our school nutrition services doing a great job to continue to get these meals to kids there. Two of our private sector partners are here with us today. I'd like for them to tell their story because it's a great story. Denton McLean with McLean Global here has partnered with Baylor, a collaborative on poverty and hunger, along with PepsiCo, in order to pack 1 million meals a week to deliver to rural kids who might not can get to town to these drop-off sites where the other kids are picking up meals. And again, Niren McShaughtry, Niren Chaudhry of Panera Bread, CEO of Panera Bread. Their company is also participating in Columbus, Ohio, with the Children Hunger Alliance there to deliver food meals that meet the regulations of USDA under flexible conditions there to get food meals there. And Panera's looking to expand that to nationwide as well. So, Denton, why don't you come and tell us your story? Thank you very much.
谢谢总统还有副总统，谢谢 DeVos 还有 Secretary， 很多人都关心大城市，但是想象一下， 很远的地方，像路易斯安那还有阿拉斯加。父母都在家里，但是都没有没办法去拿学校的午饭。这个 USDA 我们组织很贴纸，然后直接送到小朋友的家里。我们送的食物都可以放2个礼拜。我们一定会尽力去做。我们都知道这个很多的纸件文件需要做。我们还有很多合作的，像贝勒大学，还有 UPS， 还有邮局，还有可乐公司。因为这个合作，我可以跟你们讲，所有的饭盒都可以发出去。他们都需要这个午饭，我们都准备好了。感谢总统和副总统，他们很关心住在农村的小朋友。我们欢迎 Panera Bread CEO。晚上好，感谢总统、副总统。
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. President and Mr.
很荣幸，
for your leadership.
很感谢。
It's an honor to be here, and I'm deeply grateful.
这个很超长的时候。
And I passionately believe that at such times we must all
要
come
做
together
到自己最好
and do
的
our。very, very best.
我们 Panera 面包公司，我们要保证好的食物送到每一个人，
Good food
特别是最弱的，比方小
especially
朋友。
those who are the most vulnerable, such as
我
children,
们
and especially
决
at a time
心
like this, and we are absolutely determined
今天我们
in this regard.
和 USDA
Today
还
we are announcing
有
a partnership
一个
with
NGO，
USDA and
我
Children's
们
Hunger
会
Alliance
送新鲜的
to
食
serve
物，
freshly prepared,
从
wholesome
维哈
meals
尤
to
开始，
children in the
然后
entire state of
开
Ohio
到
to begin with,
别的
and hopefully
州。
after that to expand that program across many
我
other
相
states
信
in the country. I
这
do
个
believe
生活
that the human experience,
都是关于
indeed life, is all about
在
having
困难
resilience
中
in the face of
继
adversity
续
and also having the tenacity to
在
just
Panera
keep going, to just keep going.
我们
And at
的
Panera,
合
our
作每天
associates
都在
and our franchise
这样子
partners
继续。
live that spirit every single day. They are resilient and they're
我们
tenacious. And on
我
their
们
behalf,
会一直
I
为
pledge
这个国家
that we are committed to do
帮
the right thing
帮
for
最
the
需要
country
帮助的
and help
人，
serve those
我们
who
都
need it the
准
most
备好。
at this very important time. We are ready to serve. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
很感谢你们的
Thank you so
面
much.
包
Thank
公
you for
司
your，business's incredible
非常
generosity.
的
And I'll actually allow
大
the two
方。
business leaders to step out if you'd like. We appreciate you so very much on behalf of the
我们
President and a
提
grateful
问之
nation.
前，再
Before
请
we go
两
to
位
questions,
医
I'm
生
going to invite
再
Dr.
讲
Burks,
讲
Dr.
这
Fauci
个
to
数
step forward with
据
a。few reflections on what we're seeing in the data. And as you all are
我们
aware,
接下来
over the
会
next
看
several
很
days,
多
our
的建
team will be
议，
assembling recommendations
的
for the
再看
President
怎么继续
to
建
give
议
further guidance
这
to
个
the
国
American
家。
people, to states around the country,
我们
and
一
they
直
can both
在
share with you
努
the
力，
importance of ongoing efforts of
还
mitigation
有
by
州
every
政
American,
政
the
方
need
地
to
方政
support
府
what state and local leaders. Guidance is to every American community, but also,
Dr. Bergs
as
一
Dr.
直在
Bergs
分
continues to
析
work carefully with the modeling, analyzing the data, she'll reflect on the progress we've made in that. Deborah?
再讲一下你们之前的问题。我们的问题是要确认这个我们每个人这15天都待在家里减轻了很多，所以我们要再算这个需要多少呼吸机。我们重新算需要多少呼吸机，像一些州，还有纽约市，我们这个礼拜还有下个礼拜都会有这个改变。医院。要接收很多病人，但是我们还是要继续看我们的数据，还要关注英国。我们关注了他们的数据，很有帮助。可以看到不一样的政策有什么不一样的结果，有的隔离了很多人，有些国家做的不太一样。比方韩国，但是我们也会用他们政策，但是还要改一改，不是直接拿过来就可以用。你要理解你的地方。他们中国还有韩国都直接把病人从家里拖出来放到别的地方，我们美国不会这样子。所以我们推荐大家待在家里。说我们听说了中国、韩国做了什么，但是我们不会搬到美国，还有英国，要保证。要保证美国人。还有一个问题，还有人说要隔离。像纽约人到别的地方，他们应该自己隔离。我们很想警告，纽约还在更多的病人，还有人可能在发病之前走。我们希望他们保护他们自己，还有他们的家人。我们每天都在看数据，会帮我们很多。我们的社区里面监视这些数据，像老年人的退休中心。谢谢。几个钟头之前，我和在 ICU 医院里面的人打了电话，包括纽约市。我不是一个医生，我不是做生意的。 但是我要保证每一个人有他们需要的材料，像面罩啊等等，他们真的做得很好。我作为团队的一位，我们一定要让他们拿到所有需要的装备。我们可以接几个问题 ，John。我们问了8-9天之前的这个数据。今天还有数据吗？我现在。这个社区教育的更好，我们会做得更好。我们觉得把这些信息放出去很重要。这样子大家自己家人，但是也很重要，对政府、地方政府，我们。我们现在95%的测试都是在私人的实验室。我们需要这些实验室报告给我们，所以等我们收到之后，你们也会看到。今天刚通过的法。问题，我们的测试标准是什么？我们。10 people walk into a hospital, 5 come in, they're all tested positive, 5 go home, they may still be positive. 我觉得这个测试最重要的是，它只是测试，只是当天，可能明天你就又变了，所以应该要有意识的用。是一种监控，也是一个医学方面的。我们希望发现病人。还有要给病人照顾。我们学到了几个月之前，还有是怎么给他们呼吸机。每一个医生都在交流。我们从来没有经历过这么多。这种信息的交流非常，我们给这些医生鼓掌。礼拜天就是1个月之前第一个死的病人。你经历过那么多的病爆发，这些有什么改变吗 ？Dr. Fauci， 这个是从来没有经历过的。你说的很对，我经历很多别的病，作为一个医生，把他们加。30几年，那么多人都死，但是很久。我们现在看到的真实时间内是从来没有见到过的，至少我这一代人，可能100年前有差不多的。
100 years
我们
ago.
在真实世界里面学，
To not only
然后
learn in real time,
恢复
be
这
able to
个
respond in a way that
在
is
也是
helpful
在一
and
个比
effective.
较不
But
明
we're also in
的
uncharted waters,
地
and I
方
think。that's the thing that I find different, is that
我们也
the
没有
waters
什
are
么
uncharted, so that it
例
isn't as
子
if we have an example of how to do it. You know, we have an
全球都
extraordinary
是这样。
confrontation on the health and the welfare of the globe,
对
particularly you
我
know,
来
for us here
讲
in the United
这
States.
个还
So as somebody who's
还
been
是
through all
真
of
的
those
没
outbreaks,
有
this truly is unprecedented. So from the first
没有
day to now the
人
first death, we've been through something that no one has ever experienced in our generation.
我说一下晚上好，
Let me say,
我们
let me
会
say
继
good
续
evening
给
to
你
each one of you.
们
I
发
trust
消
this
息。
was helpful. We'll continue to keep you informed.
嗯，
Over the course of the
总
weekend,
统
the
会
president will
到
be traveling to Norfolk for the embarkation of the U.S. Navy ship
我
Comfort.
们会
Our task force will be meeting through the course of the
然后
weekend, and
建
we'll
议
be reviewing the data and preparing
感谢
recommendations
大家
for the American people going forward. But thank you all for your time and attention.
Secretary Perdue.
It was thorough.
Secretary Perdue.